Padurani Yasuji, Dagi Shuni Nipe Sonamdi, Rola Penche Sandi Rupasho. Chonam Sangi Chonama, Jamche Padurani Yasuji, Dagi Shuni Nipe Sonamdi, Rola Penche Sandi Rupasho.
Hello, good morning everybody. Everybody comfortable. Please sit on the chair. You put under your feet the smoke cushions. More comfortable. And then don't fall asleep, okay? You with me, just sit down. Grunt, you sleep, no problem. You sit on the chair, a little dangerous. Anyway, very good opportunity to our community together study to our what we call successful life, happy life, peaceful life. Maybe we just forget past, future lives. Just think about this life. Then everybody loves to happy life, peaceful life. But we have always problems. Because we always are running the cause to problems. Then the results come in very easily. Therefore, we try to stop the cost for negative things, negative thoughts. Try to positive activity, motivation. Try to more develop. Okay, anyway.
So anyway, we are studying, practicing, so forth in order to make our life good. So generally we say we practice Dharma in order to benefit ourselves in our future lives, but that is kind of far away. At the very least, we should make ourselves feel comfortable in this life. So all of us, we always run around throughout the night in order to have happiness. But no matter what we do, we all experience some kind of sufferings or problems. And so all the problems that we are experiencing now is not necessarily credited. The cause of that is credited in this life. So in Buddhism, it is explained that all the sufferings and happinesses that we experience comes from causes and conditions. And so the causes for those sufferings that we experience, is not necessarily created in this life. It could be created in many, many lifetimes before. And when those causes that we have created in the previous lives and meet with the right condition, then it ripens in the form of sufferings or happiness. Of course, it is not necessary that all the cause of the suffering that we experience is created in the previous life. It could be created in this life. And also it's possible that you create the cause in the morning and you experience the result in the evening. Create the cause today and then experience the result tomorrow. And so, for example, when someone steals or robs, and the person can get caught immediately right after that, or the police might not be able to find him out, and then maybe we'll be able to find out in a few days after, or a week, or a month after, or a year after, and so forth. So it can ripen depending on the condition, right?
Usually I watch a lot of FBI. This guy's very good catch. Tap, ready. And just thought of that. Get the cutting trouble and that Jedo, Jedo, my what Maras with Tandachi, Suzuchi. Methindra Medici, Yapushla, Chedding Jimenez, coming, Modade, but you don't know Momoja Costa in the younger.
And so, once you have created the cause, then when it meets with the condition, then it ripens in the form of result, either as a happiness or suffering. So no matter anyway, unless you have purified or something, so there's negative karma or positive karma that you've created, we have definitely experienced.
Sosu Dewaji Yoga and the Dewaya Jetita Susu Togo.
And so if we want to have happiness, then we have to create a cause for that happiness.
And Suzuchi Masan Tantribush Kambara Motor, that's a Tantribush Yola, Susu Togo to us.
And so, for example, if you want to have a proper house, a car, and so forth, and then you have to work yourself hard, right, to achieve those. So those things only give happiness to our external body. But the happiness of the mind has to be created by the mind itself, by thinking in certain ways. And so in Buddhism it explains what are the good minds and what are the bad minds, and what happens if we create or generate a good mind, and what happens if we create the bad minds, and so forth. And so Buddha Shakyamuni explained, in accordance with his experience. He experienced himself, and then he said, "This is what I experienced, and this is how it is." And his experiences accord, with the reality. But still, he says that this is what I experienced, and this is how it is. But you can also check it yourself. So, for example, he said, don't get angry towards others. If you get angry, then you yourself will be unhappy and others will be unhappy. And that's true, right? So first, we should think of these examples, these the gross things that is easier to understand. And also he advised not to steal. He says if you steal, it will harm the possessions of others, and also it will harm yourself. So because of stealing, you might end up in the jail for the rest of your life. And also, he said, don't lie, don't deceive others. And if you do that, it's against the law, and so forth. So if you do that, you will experience again problems and sufferings. Right? That's true. And so first, we experience with these gross things that are easier to understand, that we can perceive in some way. But then also in Buddhism there are more subtle teachings which are beyond our perceptions. So it is in a way it is a science that explains about the mind, the nature of mind, functionality, and so forth. And so it is very important to study, and also important to study continuously. So if you just study for a few days or a few weeks or a few months, you will not get any flavor from there. So as you study also on the side, you should accumulate merits and purify the negatives by making offerings, prostrations, and so forth to the gurus and Buddhas. So some of you who come to the center all the time, and when you don't get to come to the center sometime, then you don't feel happy. So that's good that you have that wish to come, and so forth. So that is the blessings of the gurus and Buddhas. And then sometimes when you don't feel like going to the center, or don't feel like doing practice and so forth, then at that time you're receiving the blessings from the demons. So of course, there are the conditions that doesn't allow you to come to the centers and so forth, but that's how it is in general.
I was in a monastery. We have to morning around 5:30, get up, go to puja. If we don't go, we don't get breakfast. Lunch maybe 11 o'clock. Then we have to go, the puja, then they went to Tibet. Sometimes very tired.
Gong.
When they hear the gong, they okay, come now. They're calling the, they live all in a very different far west. They cannot go to work tomorrow. Also, they have not internet. You cannot make a calendar. When they hear the shows, you have to puja, come. Sometimes we're very tired. When they hear this, because very much the Suzu Gevegala, Dupashivano, Gangi, that's how much younger. And also, yes, a lot of gentlemen, that's the diction, that the Pama, two
So sometimes we're very tired and lazy. We don't want to go to the pujas, debates, and so forth. And then but we are kind of forced to go, and we feel like somebody is beating us from behind and chasing us to go to these these pujas and so forth. And then our teachers used to tell us that when we have that kind of feeling, then that is the blessings of the demons.
I got a lot of breath. Sometimes this happens, This is everybody, Today, that's today on the Kalachi, that's it. That's so I have a judge. So I was on in Saris today. That's one of them. She had a lot of so what did you go with it?
And also it is because of lack of merits, not having enough merit, that you feel like that. So it's important to always pray to the Buddhas and Gurus and accumulate merit so that you will have more and more interest to do the positive things. And so when we talk about the blessings of the Buddhas and Gurus, it is their thought, the thought of wanting to engage in the practice, to do the puja, and attend the pujas, to do the practices, to do good for others, and so forth. So that is what that thought itself is the blessing. Other than that, there's nothing that a guru or Buddha can give you something solid in your hand, which is called blessing.
And then sometimes the one of the Kadichi, that Terida, Chino, that they should show it. That should not be generous.
And sometimes when the lamas they give long life initiations, then there is this long life field and long life water that's kind of distributed to the audience, and people think that is the blessing, but that's not the blessing. That's just the substance of a blessing.
In Tibetan tradition, if they don't get this substance, they don't get blessing. But this is not true. But the Jeza Kanji, that Mado Nambegi, Yamnisagan, Nambegi, Tarusagan, Hirjimbo, Yusu Samlotan, Lojon Che, but the Machine of the Lao Chixam and Javan.
And so on this, you think about the teachings of the Dharma, or the views and the conducts that's explained in the teachings. If you think about that for a very, very long time, then it will not be difficult. It will not be easy to gain the understanding of that very easily, unless you are a special person who have left a lot of good imprints from your previous lives. And so by working hard now to do the practices and study and Dharma and so forth, and you're leaving a very strong, powerful imprint in your mind, and then in the future, when you meet with the condition, then that will ripen and it will become very easy for you to understand the teachings. So then we go back to the actual teaching, liberation in the palm of your hand. And last time we talked about visualizing the object of refuge, right? The object of refuge.
아니 친구들아 아니 시당에서 좀 되게 봐라 아니 다 나가서 좀 그래 자유나 많이 봐라 다 나가서 좀 되게 뭐 이러고 싶어
And so, in brief, just visualize a throne supported by snow lines in the space at the level of your forehead, and then on top of that huge throne, there are smaller 5 thrones, one in the center, and one in the back, and then the front, one on each side. And then in the center, you visualize Buddha Shakyamuni sitting on that throne, who is your guru, your root guru in nature, but in the aspect of Buddha Shakyamuni.
아니 되게 자야 쇼들라 아니 다 자와 샴바 sempre 자치치지라 말다 정말 소진하세요 상담으로.
And then on his right, is Buddha Maitreya, who is surrounded by all the gurus of the extensive deeds.
아니 요거쇼라 아니 지금 잠에야 저기 삼박지라만 주주에 와서 바로.
And then on the left is Menjushri, who is surrounded by all the gurus of the profound view.
아니 대근 저기 잡아서 맞다. 근데 거기 저는 도저히서 되라야 아니 다 야와도 지장. 뭐 맞지만 야와도 지장. 아니 데려가는 나라 발라서 너무 많이 맞으면 다 아니 이제 또 나중에 받아서 만들 것 같아. 제 콜라지 쉬어요. 삼성도 같이 쉬어지지랑.
And then behind him, a little bit above, at the level of his head, visualize Buddha Vajradhara on that throne. Buddha Vajra, who is surrounded by the gurus of the tantric lineage, like Naropa and Tilopa and so forth, in the common view, but in uncommon view, you can visualize who is surrounded by all the highest level tantric deities like Guya Samaja, Yamantaka, and so forth.
아니 되게 좀 되더라다 소소가 전체 자유를 모서를 주름이 되게 자유를 대주에 상관으로.
And then in the front throne, there's one small guru in his or her form, actual form, sitting there.
아니 다 된소양 소소들에 쪽대지 소소 쪽대 가는 소소 송식이 다 주디도 보디가 나바지 내요 상관으로.
And then in the front of all these gurus, they have this table, and then on the table there's a volume of scripture which symbolizes all the teachings that they have taught.
아니 다 들려마 아니 다 라마예든 얘랑 상지 장소 다 들마다 맞아 당가들이 어디 아주 지금 막 방에 봤습니다. 근데 소소된 가야 거네 아니 소소 파마가 생겼다 심지 차 거라고 너무 강하다고
And then surrounded to all of them, all the Buddhas, other Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, healers, social realizers, Dharmapalas, or the protectors, and so forth. So just like the Lama Chopa or Guru Puja merit field. So you visualize that in the space in front of yourself. And then from your side, you are sitting there, and then you are also surrounded by all the sentient beings of all 6 realms. And you are all looking up and into this merit, object of refuge, and seeking refuge.
뭐 근데나 근데 상도 다네 지금 근데가 다 수수지 저기 사자가 되고 남아도 상이 두소리 지금 다지 카 말아 대다는 거 그래서 나 분들이 주고 돌리지네 아주 좋아 되게 제가 아니 지금 상가시지로 상담을 하죠.
So this merit field, you should not just think of as a picture, but in 3D, like an actual person, actual people there, living there, and talking with each other, and discussing, questioning, answering, and then going out, coming in, and so forth. And they're all like him being in a very busy place.
아니 돈도지 다수도 대자여 사다가 제가 도지 양샤리 두지가 뭐지 다왜 로고 버려고 지 왜 그서로 오지 다 대도 나봐야 계속상으로 당이야 대야하더죠 왜 나오지.
And then these beings in the merit field should not think of them as ordinary being with an ordinary body of bone, flesh, blood, and so forth, but rather holding, adopting a body of light. If you think like that, then that helps to purify your mind. And so you have to acquaint yourself with this visualization, and so that you can have that visualization all the time in a very short amount of time, like in a few seconds. You can think like that. And so when we usually do the refuge and bodhicitta prayer, where we say to refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha like that, and you can have that visualization up already there. And so then once you have visualized the object of refuge, then you have to take refuge. Taking refuge is very important. Without that, you are not even considered as a Buddhist. Of course, you are not Buddhist, but it doesn't mean you cannot study, you cannot practice. You can still practice and study, but you are not Buddhist, just that. And so, so what I identify, you as being Buddhist or not, is the refuge practice. And so, so the refuge is your Buddhist ID. And so now sometimes people don't want to take refuge vow on top of that, and so you can take the vow also from a qualified Buddhist master. And so you have to take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha in order to be a Buddhist. Otherwise, even if you do all other practices and studies for 15-20 years, you will not still be Buddhist. And so how you take refuge? In order to take refuge, you have to have the cause to take refuge, the reason to take refuge. And there are two reasons why you take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So the reason number one is that you have to be afraid of the sufferings of the lower realms. And so that we all have, right? We are all afraid of those sufferings, right? And then the reason number two for taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha is that you should believe that they have the power to protect you from these sufferings. So with these reasons, then you take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And so when you are in trouble and you need help from a lawyer, then you seek someone who you believe will be able to help you, right? And so you have to have these two reasons. Being afraid of the sufferings of the lower realms, and then believing that Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha has the power to protect you from these sufferings. And so in order for it to be a Mahayana refuge practice, then on top of that you also need suffering, not being able to bear to see sufferings of other sentient beings. And so, you have to have that compassion, not being able to see the sufferings of other sentient beings, for you to be Mahayana refuge. And so then, so now, you have to understand about these sufferings and the power of the object of refuge and so forth, through studying from the gurus and so forth.
상지 좀 된데 상지 좀 된데 상지 해야 돼. 라님 고와다는 수고 동안에 탈스마이 그랬어. 근데 제한테 소파 타야 탑시 다 제케워지 말이죠.
And so the reason to take refuge, I mean, in order to believe that Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha has the power to protect you from these sufferings, then you have to understand their, their capabilities, their ability, to free you from those sufferings. So in the case of Buddha, and so Buddha himself, is free from all these sufferings, and he is skilled in the means, to free others from sufferings. So if you yourself, is not free from these sufferings, it will be really difficult for you to help others to free from those sufferings, right? And so that's why we normally say, of course you can say that may all sentient beings achieve enlightenment, but we normally say, may I achieve state of full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So we want to, or we need to help others, right? In order to help others, unless we become a bodhisattva or Buddha ourselves, we'll not be able to help others, right? So in order to help others, then you have to know exactly what will be best, where to help them. You have to understand their needs, their the wishes, what they have in their mind, and so forth. So if we don't know, then we will not be able to help in the best way.
Because for us, we don't know each other. Smart, and sometimes they misunderstand or they don't like. Because some
So I mean, there are many different ways you can teach the person, right? So if you know the right way, that will fit best for the person, then that will help most, right? If you don't know that, then you just teach something, but you never know. You don't know whether that way it will be helpful or not. And the worst side, sometimes that even gives more misunderstanding to them, and then creates even problems. So now, we just went through the explanation of the visualization. That's the object of refuge. So that's what you visualize. And so now there's a verse that you can recite for taking refuge. Since I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. And so you recite that verse. And then also, other than that, you can also say, and in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, I take refuge until I'm enlightened, and so forth. That one is refuge. And so, as you are reciting this verse, you can imagine all these sentient beings surrounded to you, and you are acting like the chanting master, and you're leading the prayer, and then all these people are following with you, reciting the prayers at the same time. And then
소소가 짜여도 저거 되게 신업도 소소로 마셔. 또 쇼네. 근데 다 맞죠 안 거지. 다시는 다튼 거나 뭐지. 가지마지 소소지지. 다 말이 빈만 발라서 같이 또 가마지 더 나버려지. 그거 나버려 나바지는 파크가 매송선에 담는다. 아니 납주가 갈아지. 근데 산지도 산지도 소소지 신업고 까고 되게 나바지는 소소를 수요하네. 소소를 신업 쇼송하니 되게 상담을 소소를 생지 강가리.
And so when you're reciting this refuge formula, you can do the first, I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha. So first, let's say you recite that, and I take refuge in the Buddha 100 times, and the first 50 times, the first 50 counts, you can visualize nectar flowing from the object of refuge, the Buddhas. Those the 5 sets of object of refuge, you visualize the nectar from them, light and nectar flowing from them, and entering your body and purifying all the negativities of your body, speech, and mind, and coming out, out of your lower orifices or from the pores of your body in the form of black smoke, black liquid, and so forth.
What is the Tang Tambola Japan to was their Kajalan, Shadanta Lamas and Shak Karichimon, but the Tambola with the law. Nibatita, Sanjay Shinopshin, what Lambo, the Luzan, walk up with Nabajinata, so to Thompson, some Tabella Thompson, and the Cosmo to the Nagata, so Jenny, Tali to the Edgar, Jason Sarabero.
And then the next 50 count, you can visualize again all these nectars and lights flowing in different colors, and then dissolving into you and into all sentient beings, and thereby you receive all the excellent qualities of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, and so forth. And so you do these visualizations while reciting. And so we, on top of the 3 objects of refuge, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, then also we take refuge in the Guru. The reason for that is because Guru is the one who gives us all these teachings, who teach us all the Dharma and so forth. So Guru is like the representative of the Buddha. So through the Guru, we receive the teachings of the Buddha.
Sanjay Chusong or Karichim,
so it is very, of course, we're very grateful to the Buddha for having taught the teachings, but if there's no Guru now, we will not be able to receive those teachings, right? So same, we should consider the teachers in the school very grateful for us, because without those teachers, we will not have any of these knowledges, right? So anyway, we'll discuss further on the Guru devotion, the qualities of the Gurus when we talk about the Guru devotion. Sure. And so, talk about Dharma Buddha, there are so many different types of Buddhas, in terms of the teachings that they gave. From the 4 classes of Tantra, there can be 4 different Buddhas and so forth.
I don't know, you don't choke it in the bottle, and you jump in the bush.
So you can say the Buddha of the Sutra system and Buddha of the Tantra system. The Buddha Sutra system is the sperm emanation body, and of the Buddha who came in this world perform the deed of achieving enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, and then in turn the will of Dharma, to teach Dharma to other sentient beings and so forth. So this is the Buddha of the sutra system.
What are Sanjila Chadun chose on a yacht, Pena Chikoji or so? Tela young option Salata, Sanjila Tibet, Pena Sanji. Kala Matabashum, Sola, Matabashuma. And if that's Sanji Kuzuchi Yasota, Kuton, General. Yasuchi Tamasha, Chaladan Chenda. 아니 그들이 야수주 사생인 대신에 받는 일 오신 때 방문사 때는 샘베드 버서가 다 소원이 비 아니 다 당으로 들어와.
And so when you do, the first one was the Guru, right? So when you take refuge in the Guru, so you recite the first 100 times, taking refuge to the Guru, and then taking refuge to the Buddha. You can also again, think that during the first 50 recitation, imagine light flowing, light and nectar flowing from the Buddha, and entering into your body, and thereby purifying all the negative karmas that it created in relation to Buddha, especially not by disrespecting the Buddha or the Buddha's statues, pictures, and so forth, and using that as a pawn. To borrow money and so forth. So so by doing that, whatever negative karma that you have created in relation to the Buddha, they imagine all those negativities are purified.
What in the that you cannot to the Tomaina, that the Yahumanduchi, the libraries, Lawayana, that Kosomidi, the Tamatini, the Yamutim, the Yamutulan to pass over through.
And so when we see the statues or the stupas, we should not say the statue is not good, stupa is not good. Instead, we should say the person who built the statue didn't do a good job. Didn't do it well. You should not say the stupa is not good. If you say that, then you create negative karma.
And then George 지금 잡에 걸었다 밀리바요 말해서 나타 하도 된 뒤에서 누스 뭐든 was.
And so, like here it says, that Lama Tisha said, there is no defects in magicianry, but the person who built the statue is so.
대자 같이 맞다 나서 그 지제도 좋다. 주로도 말해서 나 카운트 다 같이 나가도 배도 원하지. 아니 그런 건담을 요지 내가 기대 아무 것도 내 괜히도 말 남도 유샤 아무도 와서 이제 대파서 하면서.
And so I mean, of course you understand about it, so you will not do that, but some people who don't have this understanding, they go to Nepal, India as a tourist, and then they find these things interesting, and they just buy without even checking the quality of it, and then they bring it here, and later then they when the interest is gone, then they just throw it in the trash. Then that's not really good.
다 틀리지는 다 그래도 봤는데 가제 다 뒤가라 가서 산재라 좀 세가라야 지금 다 산재가 고속도로 때 샴베기 다또 그럴 때 샴베기 봐서 그만 다 소원이 된 거지. 야다 단대지 소자리 조사는 까보고 마시면요. 고속도로 유션은 더 소원이 된 거. something down 다 소원이 싸만은 지워야 될 거.
So so during the first 50 recitation, then you imagine all this negative karmas created being purified, and then during the second 50 recitation, then imagine again light and nectar flowing down in the form of the knowledges or the excellent qualities of body, speech, and mind of the Buddhas, flowing down in the form of nectar and light, and then entering into your body, and thereby you receive all these qualities, excellent qualities of Buddha's body, speech, and mind. So when you do the practice, it is important to think it that way. If you don't think that, that it's not that beneficial. It's more beneficial to think like that.
다 줄여줘도 주의성선 말아야 양치가 다 추세야 다 도비가 상제도 상주선 봐서 도비지 연대 니제도 돈도 로도 상주선 들어가고 그래서 당연히 충분해 돼.
So then you say, I take refuge in the Dharma. When we're talking about the Dharma, the actual Dharma, is is the realization of bodhicitta, emptiness, and so forth within the continuum of the Aya and the Bodhisattvas.
What to sa body number chini, that body wanda diga number chini, that's Sorola. You can Sola chip, that market by the Latimitas. The children of the
And so then these teachings, the realizations, come in the form of physical books and scriptures. And so there are many ways we can create negative karma in relation to Dharma.
아니 강화도 가디나 다 대도 다 맞을 냠도 냠도 드셔야 되거든. 그런데 배단 소송 치마로 가지 있다. 내가 내가 좀 라바가 파트 요리한테 로치나한테 봐서 그러고.
And so normally like when you flipping the pages of the book, and if you use your spittle to wet your fingers so that you can flip the page, then that's again, that's also disrespect to the Dharma, and you couldn't harm by doing that.
Usually, we flip over, we don't water here. They put some water into us. Once they become black, always,
So if you do that, you create a very heavy negative karma.
아니 대마에 지금 땅 안도 지금 태화치 뭐 제대로 되시 태화 만만한 지금 내렸다. 아니 지금 소소치 딱 좀다 소소치 좀다 제대로 좀다 신바들로 만만한 같이 가다네. 딱 탑치 싫어서 그러더라.
And also if you despise the teachings, other tradition teachings, because you follow the Mahayana teachings, so therefore you say Hinayana teaching is bad, or because of the different tenets in the school that you follow. You say the other tenets are bad and so forth. If you do that, then you create a very heavy negative karma again. And also, if you are doing a business of the scriptures, the books, Dharma books, then you create a negative karma also.
I don't know who doesn't sell. We cannot find to buy. You need to sell it. Someone sell, right? Now we say, who sell, they get negative karma. Start the zochi, suzu kesado, suzu uchi. Karo. Suzu go, rande zo chedi chi. Kesan kone chi chi. Ta zongde chi, ma ta di pasago de rasi. Na ju zongge ji, ma na na nyo ra ma ros. Chi ta no ma chi sem la pen to chi de zona ya. Ti ba ji ma ros. So na ka ga de pa chana ro wa.
So, of course, if there's nobody to sell, then we'll not be able to buy. If we don't buy, we will not have it, right? So we need somebody to sell. So not saying that selling is bad. Absolutely not like that. You can sell, but not selling to make a big profit for your own self, by telling lie to others, and so forth. So if you sell in that way, then of course it's negative karma, heavy negative karma. But if you have to sell in order just to cover the expenses, to pay the wages and so forth, then I think that shouldn't be much of negative karma. And then, so especially in people in the West, they're not used to, they're used to not kind of respecting the books. So they just walk over, they step on it, they even sit on it, and so forth. And so, like even here, we have a table, and then we have Dharma text on the table, and then we walk over the table. That's disrespectful to the Dharma also. So culturally, you're not aware of that. So therefore, you're not to be blamed, but still, you create negative karma if you do that. So, be conscientious not to do that.
아니 받으러서 많이 조금만 대비나 전화다 이거 먹고 마시 많이 나다 대비 나빠 틀려야는 바티가나
So if you have to walk, by then you can just move the table. You can move the table here and there, and then walk by. So move the table. You can do that, right? And or you can even lift up the table, walk around, just then put it back in the same place. But if you can't do that, then of course it's possible. You should not walk over both the book and the table, but at least not on the book, right? So if then you just pick up the book, walk over, and then place the book back on the table again. So I'm just saying this because this happens a lot, right here. And so, and then also, also be very careful not to place the books on the floor, next to the shoes and so forth. And so again, also one time when Lamadisha was traveling, to Ngari, on the way he saw some body flipping a scripture page, with the help of his sputum from on his finger, and Lamadisha again mentioned that's not correct to do that. Anyway, if you read the whole teaching, then you will see it here. So the scripture is considered as the highest. The teaching Dharma is considered the highest, because the scripture symbolizes that. Therefore, we should respect equally, and therefore nothing can come on top of the Dharma books, let alone food and other things. Not even like a mala or bell and bajra, or even the statue of a Buddha can be placed on the book. You should not place on a book. And so, keep that in mind and try not to do those things that we're not supposed to do. And same thing now, again, when you're reciting the refuge formula for taking refuge in the Dharma, so the first 50 times you can purify all the negativities in relation to Dharma, create it in relation to Dharma, and then next 50 times then receiving all the blessings of the Dharma. And the next you take refuge in the Sangha. And so Sangha, is all those spirit beings who have the direct realization of the emptiness and so forth. And so that includes the Arya Bodhisattvas, the healers, the Sotivilizers, the Buddha, Arya Buddha, and so forth. So and also any kind of negative karmas that you have created in relation to them by not respecting them and so forth. And then the Sangha in general, if you, like the monks and the nuns in the community, if you disrespect them, or if you have caused schism, like dividing them, making them to be divided and so forth, if you have done those, then that's a very heavy negative karma. So again, during the first recitation of those, the first 50 recitation of taking refuge in the Sangha, imagine all those negative karmas created in relation to Sangha is being purified. So, you know, if somebody has caused schism in the sanghas or the spiritual community, then that place becomes very bad, and of course the person who is causing the schism will be born in the lower realms, but even affects the creatures, the beings living in that place. And then in that place becomes so bad that if someone were to do practice there for lokasism, so like, even meditate even for 12 years will not be able to generate any realizations in that place. So that's how bad the place becomes once it has caused schism or division of the spiritual community there. And anyway, so there are so many other negative karmas that is explained, which you can read in detail. And then there's the story. Once there was a Kadampa Geshe named Salshi, and who caused dissension among the Sangha. Later, after the Geshe's death, Geshe Thubten remarked, if my disciple Salshi had died 3 years earlier, he would have died as upholder of the 3 baskets. But he died 3 years too late. And it says, so anyway, so because he died afterwards, then that was bad, after causing the schism. And so this is again, not only necessarily talking about the monks and nuns, even the spiritual community, like we have one here. It is very important, to be harmonious with each other inside. And also, so if you consume the possessions, the wealth, the property of the Sangha, then that's a very heavy need to come as well. And so, if using the property of the Sangha without without giving the permission to use it, which is, in other words, stealing. And so if you do that, then you incur very heavy karma, and you will have a very bad, but terrible kind of rebirth in the future. And so there are many stories here These monks, they went to the ocean and they came back. From there, they saw these different creatures, and then they asked the Buddha, why, what kind of creatures that, what kind of karma that person created in the past, to be born as such and such creature. And then Buddha said, oh, he was, such, and he did, he stole this possession of Sangha and so forth and so forth. So that's how he was born like that and so forth. So there are all these, stories in here. You can read on your own. And so if you just, use the general possessions of the Sanghas, for your own personal need, then you create this kind of negative karma, to be born as very terrible creatures. And then, of course, if you give a nickname, to the monks or nuns, out of disrespectful, then you create so many negative karmas. You can see the story of a person being called Sachi. And these stories, you can read it in your own. We might not have enough time to go through each and all of them. So you can read it on your own, and it's not difficult to understand. And then again, so same with the Sangha, so you recite the refuge formula of the Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha, so you recite that 100 times. In the first 50 times, imagine purifying all the negativities created in relation to the Sangha. And then the second 50 recitation recite with the visualization or imagination of receiving all the blessings of the Sanghas. Then also you can recite the refuge and the bodhicitta prayer at the beginning of the prayers that we do. That also includes. So then also there is the refuge prayer of the Amdo system. They call it Amdo system. But anyway, so in there then there's the Lama Yidam, the Guru deity. Lama Yidam, and then 3 jewels, the Guru deity and 3 jewels. So refuge in the Guru deity, 3 jewels.
This is a little story. Maybe everybody knows Amdo Gedichudi. I think you guys heard Amdo Gedichudi. He's very scholar. He doesn't believe no one, that's chicken and mutton. And that Korachi, Nimachi Koran Nani, that should order chicken color. To Mashi that the color. And the Korashi was tell him, and the Nani. That's Joe Kanjala must say, Moya put it in the road. And cause a moist up, she was lovers. And the Koran that shall gish better. Motamaku can let my catching was and Kajin Dako Chenny. Kanjala Malata, Motaro cheese. The Kanjala Malta, Motamata, cook can then was. They like to Kona Chena, and the joke on the Sekochi. And in fact, Jambo, Yamadation loves the collaborator.
So the Amdo Genichurpa, like you should say, is a very great scholar. Anyway, he didn't believe in the Dharma, taking refuge and so forth. The predictions, the dice definitions and so forth. He didn't believe in that. But one time he became very sick and he was about to almost dying just before he died. He was very sick, so he asked his attendant, his servant attendant, to go and do some, to do some observation or check, with the Lama. There's from Teokanjin, there was this Lama from Teokanjin who does a dice definition. You tell the dice, to check, what would be good to do, how, what to do, and so forth. So then the attendant, so the Rinpoche asked his attendant, to go and check with this lama. What should he do to get better from his disease or sickness? Then the attendant thought, it will not be useful because he doesn't believe in these things anyway. But he said, anyway, I'm going to check with this lama. So when he went to check with the lama said, there's no use doing the Dutch definition for him because he would not believe in it. So instead, tell him to offer a statue, a gold statue to the gold, the bottle lamp holder made of gold, a bottle lamp container made of gold, to the Choe statue in Jokong Temple, and then recite refuge prayers as many times as possible. So then he said, on the Geshe, he said that the teaching is very rare, so you should not recite it too much. So if you recite it too much, then you'll get used to it. You get used up, right? And because it's very rare, so you shouldn't use it so much, as if it's ordinary things. So he said that. So then he, instead of doing all this long refuge, then he just said, I take refuge in the Guru, deity, and 3 jewels. So then from there, then it became like the system of the Amdo to do refuge in that way. And so anyway, so he was a very great scholar, but he didn't believe in these things and so forth. So anyway, so later he created that. So normally, we are very accustomed, with pointing at the faults of others, right? We always, see the bad qualities of others, point at faults of others, and it is very important to not do that. Of course, in general, but especially among the sanghas. And so if you get used to doing that visualization, visualizing the refuge or the object of refuge, and then it doesn't take a long time to do that visualization. And then with that visualization, then you recite this refuge formula, which doesn't take a long time either. So that is the practice to do. So you should do practice like that, one by one. So without doing those visualizations, without thinking about the benefits of achieving enlightenment, helping other sentient beings and so forth, without thinking that, without having compassion or without visualization like that. If you recite the refuge prayer, of course, there's some benefit of reciting it, but it will not be that beneficial. So it will be more beneficial if you do this kind of visualizations. And so anyway, I just went through roughly, in my own words, but they are all very detailed explanation about these with the stories and so forth. So if you can read, make time to read that, that will be very beneficial. So the next time we'll talk about meditating or practicing the 4 imaginables. So above that, before that, it's not difficult to understand, so just read it yourself.
Okay? Otherwise you go to one by one, maybe takes maybe 60 years. 20 how many days?
23.
23 days?
24.
We test maybe 20, more than 24 months. Now we have questions. Do you have any other questions? Yep.
You were talking about respecting the Dharma books, and I was wondering, with so many Dharma books available electronically now, if there are any guidelines for respecting them as far as reading the books on electronic devices.
So don't sit on that computer.
Sometimes you put that characters, and the passport, don't put very too low place, So,
So even if it's in computer, it's there, right?
So,
yeah. So you should respect that also.
Okay. Maybe don't put the outer, maybe people say, oh, this guy really cozy. Try to more respect. Okay? Yeah.
Geshe
Yes.
This might have been asked last week, and I apologize if it was, but the 5 thrones, when you visualize the refuge visualization, I kind of have trouble with it because, I mean, are they floating in the air? I mean, are they kind of like these paintings? Are they? I mean, you have the main big throne, and then you have the 5 other thrones.
Yeah. This, for example, this was Big Man 1, this was Big Man 1. Then you can put mirror here one, this is centered.
Yep.
Then you put one here, and one here, one behind here, one behind there. But this was a little high, maybe above there.
Okay.
I don't think maybe too low, okay? Not too high the water. You could do that one.
So you're talking about the small thrones on top of the big throne, right?
Yeah.
And they're sitting on that.
Okay.
They're touching
Great.
it, just like you place this book on the table.
Okay.
It's placed on that.
Great. Thank you.
So, but the big throne, that's floating, in the space.
Okay.
The big throne in the floating. So, like you see the Guru Puja Merrifield,
right.
You see it's like floating on the cloud. So you can imagine like that, something under there. There's a cloud, and then the throne, big throne on the cloud, and then on top of the big throne, then you see this, small thrones, 5 small thrones placed on it.
Okay?
Thank you.
But there are many different versions, different ways, But this is we have enough.
Okay.
Now we don't need to go through each.
Thank you.
Just think about this, then we see now. Okay? Okay? Yep.
Question. Back on the Dharma books, what if you have Dharma books on Dharma books? Is it allowed or no?
That's allowed.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
The other without space to. Yeah. It's okay. But maybe don't put above the Dharma books, maybe your computer. My computer is Dharma, because I put there. Maybe this, maybe not. Understood. Okay?
There's a lot of books, and I'm wondering how you know if something is a Dharma book. If it's written by someone who's ordained, do you then consider that the Dharma book?
대고 말이야. 남도 남지 주로로 제상이 있는데 다 주도에 있는 데 걸로와도 하고 그래서.
Well, so if you know the Dharma, then when the book explains about Dharma, then that's a Dharma book. So you know from there, not necessarily that a book written by a monk is a Dharma book.
근데 다 들으려고 그랬어. 누나 돼. 남중아도 가대는 로주잖아. 슈게도 추도 가가는 하고 그러 왔어. 그러다 대음질로 온서다 디나가도 디과시는 굳이 주대로 잘 왔어.
So normally, there can be different type of books, but then it explains about Dharma also and non-Dharma also. You know?
Yeah.
So the best is to respect all the books, no matter what it's written, what it is about. And then if not, then at least those books which explains about Dharma. So you respect that.
Okay. Okay. Now we go to discussion. Okay, now I have to give you examples. My example, how I pass. What are the six? What are the six preparatory practice? Correct? What are the six preparatory practice? Practices. Okay? Who's volunteering? Any volunteers?
Yes.
Okay, good.
The first practice is cleaning the room and arranging the symbols of enlightened body, speech, and mind. The second is obtaining offerings honestly and arranging them beautifully.
Good job.
The third is
Maybe you give some other.
sitting
Okay.
in the 7-point Virochana position on a comfortable cushion.
Unfortunately.
After which one takes refuge, develops bodhicitta, and so on, all done in a virtuous state of mind.
Yeah.
Then,
The fourth is petitioning the merit field. The fifth is offering the 7-limb prayer and word mandala.
The sixth?
The sixth is further petitions in order for your mental stream to be endued by your meditations.
Are you looking at the text?
No. I'll close my eyes also.
Good.
It's easy for me to look at the text.
Oh, what can I give you? Good. Everybody understand? It's good, you can memorize this. Then, okay, I have one question. What are today we talk about? Which?
What did we talk about today? Which subject did we talk about today?
Not you. Other one? Today what we talk about?
Meditation, visualization.
Among the 6 preparatory practices, which one is it? Which one did we talk about today?
Would be I'm looking. The sixth. Visualization.
What is it?
The sixth one for the petition.
Huh? Sarah?
Number 4.
Oh, well,
Petitioning the
Before
marriage.
Shivasa.
Not yet.
then, no one there? Okay, come on.
Number 3.
Number third, the part is refuge. Number third.
Not yet.
저도 지로 시원해 왔어. 아니 리나는 대대보라도 시원해. 점도 선지. 저기 좋아.
Shivata.
시원해. 근데 시원해 보여.
So which one?
신발.
We talked about which one? Third one, right?
선배는
Sitting in the posture of Varachana and then taking refuge, right?
No, it's 3.
3.
Okay, you can check maybe the outlines behind this, back of the door. Okay, it's good. Thank you, man. Good job. Maybe he doesn't cook, he's always reading. I don't cook, otherwise they kick out you, okay? Okay, good job. You cook very well, otherwise they kick out you.
Oh, they kick you out, I see.
Kick you out. Okay, good, everybody understand? Today we talk about part of the thought. Not four, not six, okay? But this is slowly, okay? Slowly, don't worry. Okay. What is the purpose of cleaning sharing room? Shining room. Correct? What is the purpose of cleaning shining room?
Shrine.
Shrining room.
Shrine room.
Shrine room. Okay.
Out of respect for the merit field, it pleases the Gurus and Buddhists.
상계다 자주선말로 90년 고들 가고 써야 지.
Anybody agree with her?
Yeah.
You have some different? Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I think the purpose of cleaning the shrine room is to clean your ignorance and attachment.
말이 보다 더 잘. 상마서 해야지.
다 몰라야 돼. 그냥 랑다 현지 셈 담아서 그 바이 좀 들려 왔어. 아니 랑 소소 다 이제 나다 사게도 상주 셈 나도 그러는 거.
Yeah, of course, that's true too. When you clean, you have to imagine you are cleaning, sweeping out your attachment, ignorance, and then of course that's also true that you clean in order to, respect, out of respect to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and to please them and so forth. But if the room is clean, then your mind becomes clear. Right? Now other people come in the room and they see it clean, then their mind becomes clear. So that's the purpose.
Okay, good. Okay, then. Oh, this is too long. Okay. Is there a story about practitioner who achieve state of Bodhisattva? Arhat. I'm finished, not yet.
No.
Bodhisattva, Arhat, cleaning shining room.
Through
cleaning shining room.
Shrine
Room. You guys got it?
Yeah. Say it one more time.
Okay, is there a story?
No.
Is there a story about practitioner who achieve state of for destroyer through cleaning a shining room? You got it?
Good.
I pass?
That was good.
Okay. Okay, who's the volunteer? Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a story.
Yeah.
A monk who was not, he was very dull, his mind was very dull, and they thought he couldn't learn anything. And people tried to teach him many things, and then finally Buddha Shakyamuni taught him cleaning the shrine room, and then they asked him to go give a teaching, and they thought he's not going to be able to teach anybody anything, and when he went and he did the teaching, a lot of people had realizations afterwards.
Good. Correct. You are right. Where the monk right now, he's part of this 16 art. What, do you know the name?
I don't know.
Do you know you guys said name?
Yeah, that's right.
Good. Oh, good. Sometimes very important we can do stories to understand more.
Did everyone hear?
Yeah. Should have been done, yeah.
Yeah. He's after that. I don't know which one. It's nothing to do. Okay? Okay, then which one? What is the purpose of arrange offering Arranging offerings. Okay, you got it? You need to read it again? I can read this. You guys got it?
Dolores, you need to do more, bit more.
Okay. Okay, who's voluntary? Everybody do offerings, right? What purpose? Not purpose, everybody.
To accumulate merit.
You say?
It's all such.
Then. Okay. Yeah. Then.
So I don't know if it's the traditional, but for me it's the laying down the best part of myself. It's a sacrifice. It's a way of getting closer to the understanding of emptiness. I let go of myself and give the best part. So make myself part of the offering.
The social and Shiva this. So social and Shiva. Because don't you look like catch the social. So you actually charge it. I did the past job for this. So yeah, you can make that kind of offering, but what is the purpose of making an offering? You arrange all these offerings, right? In front of the shrine, you make the offerings. So why you do that? What is the purpose of doing that? What benefits are there if you do that?
Yeah, to learn generosity.
Sorry?
To practice and learn generosity yourself to admit.
Then who has some other? Okay?
It implants the marks of a Buddha. Implants the marks and signs of a Buddha.
Okay. Then, okay, I think this is now, yeah. I think best bonus may be Dolores.
In order to accumulate merit.
Then, could and this was
what you said is also right. You offer the best part of you when you offer. What you said is right also. So the best answer is in order to accumulate merit. So of course, yeah, you implant those the signs and the marks of the Buddha, but also, but main thing is to accumulate merit. If you do that, if you arrange offerings, of course, it's just for yourself, to accumulate merit. It doesn't really help them. They don't drink that water or take that flower. It's for yourself to accumulate merit.
In the Golden Light Sutra, there's a section, I always meant to ask this, it says there is a section on actions that we're supposed to be sorry about. And one of them it says in the accumulation of merit. So is there a wrong way of accumulating merit? Is there a wrong mind state? Like, can we have a mundane purpose in accumulating merit? Like, I'm accumulating merit, I'm becoming, is there a wrong way of doing that?
Yeah, you can say that. If you do it for yourself, instead of making offering in order to accumulate merit, so that you can gain enlightenment for many others, you think, I want to accumulate merit so that I can become rich, I can become healthy, I can have long life. So if you think like that, yeah, that can be wrong. Yeah. So that kind of accumulated merit will not be good, I think. When you make offerings, of the things, you can make offerings of the things that you own, is unowned by you, so anything that is owned by others. Then you can offer the things outside, the flowers, the garden, the forest, the hill, the mountain, the clouds, everything, you see, you can offer.
Well, what?
But Geshe, in a sense, when you offer something, you to anybody, like you offer to the Buddhas, you offer to God, you offer to your friends, you do it to please them. You do it because you want to please them. Now, the thing about obtaining merit and that's kind of selfish. You always think, oh, I'm doing this because I want merit for whatever reason. So why jump to the second thing when you just want to keep it very basic? I'm giving something to somebody to please them. Not about obtaining something for myself. Why is that the purpose?
아니 제야대 고전이어지는데 교도까지 소설을 하는 것 같아요. 소소삼 소시들에서 이제.
손음 사는 거죠.
손음 사나 아니 딱 그래. 손음 나무 되는 거 나도 그래. 가는데 좀 그래서. 아니 뭐 사제도 그래서.
So yes, the pure mind, it should be that I'm making offering. I'm giving this, to my friend, or I'm, helping my friend. I'm offering this to the Buddhas in order to please them. But while doing that, you do accumulate merit, and that merit that you accumulate, and you can use it for a good purpose. You can use that merit. So if you have enough merit, then you'll be able to, do the practices without any obstacles, and so forth. So you do accumulate merit, and that merit, how you use it is in your hand.
But the question is, what's the purpose? So the purpose is not to accumulate merit. The purpose is to please the Buddhas. The secondary is okay, yes, of course, automatically, maybe, if you do it right, you get something, but that's secondary. The purpose is not to obtain merit. I think the purpose is just to please.
What's more beneficial, pleasing the Buddhas or becoming a Buddha?
대체나 저랑보다 말한 게 손으로 쌓아지는 조평이 삼을 주지만은 대신만으로 말해 대 저도 말해 들어와. 다 상계 이어지는 거속 그 이어지는 아니 저는 그런 야보에 와서 가르나. 속삭이를 되는데 속창
사면은 나 상계 거거든. 상계로 손은 거거든. 근데 손은 쌓아지도 이게 좋은 거거든. 좀 그러나
된다고 그래서. 대만이 지금 안 직다는 데가 직접 봐. 인도 직 소소고 직접 오는데 오는 것이 되잖아. 아니 일단 속삭은 말했어.
Yeah, so you don't have to you don't have to think, oh, I want to accumulate merit, therefore I'm going to make offering. You don't have to think that way. It says I want to please the Buddhas, therefore I'm going to make offering. You can do that, But it is I need to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and in order to achieve enlightenment, I need a merit. In order to accumulate that merit to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, I'm going to make this offering. That's perfectly all right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
I always felt uncomfortable with that word myself, because I wondered if it was a cultural thing or a translation thing, merit, like accumulating merit, because it sounds like a merit badge, like in Cub Scouts who earn merit badges, and like a prize. And I wonder if it means like progress on the path, like to try to attain realizations or progress on the path to bring you closer to enlightenment. Does it mean that?
뭐라서 선암세대 뭐라데 찍듯이 선암로 능념바라고 참여했어. 미즈다 나랑 능념바라게 되지다 내야 되지. 나라 터치 또 가서 또 내가 보자는 흥념바라서 이러. 내가 아치도 거기죠. 내면서는 선암세대 된대로 고도 되지도 못해지. 또 선암세대 지단데 그래서 더 림바토마스 람미다 근데 신경이 림바토마스 더 람러라 그래서 람마스 람벼라 내가 람라 때문에 야 공부를 하게 내가 림바토 그랬어 내가 그거 그랬어
때 손을 야고서는 고야야 줘야 되는 거
마치다 선업세도 계속 잡아 지당라 두자라 막 믿어도 답변을 빼셔라오라 빼셔도 자지고 그래서 빼셔도 자지고 빼셔 것도 자서 그래 미고하고 저 소스라 근데 빼셔 이런 거 빼셔 보다니까
그래서 다 주다 하시다
되나 말해 선업
저는 되는 거 같이 손을 연어 저는 빼셔라고 당초 그래서 아니 저는 강제와도 좀 그래
So, well, in one hand you can say it's like a culture, but on the other hand, you can think of merit as you like, as you say, reward or prize or whatever you call it, whatever you think of, but if you have that prize, that reward, let's say that money, money normally makes people, go crazy, do bad things and so forth, but you can also use that money for good purpose, to help others. If you want to give food to other people, you need money. If you want to give house to other people, you need money. Without money, you cannot do those things. So money can have many, many positive effects, right? So you just like that. Merit is like that also. In order to do good things, you need a merit. If you don't have merit, you won't be able to do good things. Therefore, you need merit. And that positive imprint that you get from doing a good thing is called merit.
That's a power?
Yeah, you can say it's a power.
I think
just like the power in the money.
I think part of the difficulty sometimes is that we think of accumulating, like you said, merit badges and things. It's from someone else judging our actions, another being judging us, and then another being giving us something. And so merit obviously isn't given to us by another being. And there's no one judging saying, oh, that's good, here's some merit. That's not good, here's no merit. And so that, I think, is the hard part sometimes, is that when we think of a reward,
there's nobody there, but it is like that. So this is a good thing, here is a merit. This is a bad thing, no merit. So of course it's like that, but there's nobody there, like a creator or somebody who's doing that. Nobody there, but it is like that.
Okay. Slowly.
We were always told in school, be very careful you don't get brownie points. Being so good, the teacher will give you a good marks and A's. Like kids hate kids like that. Always trying to get on the teacher's good side, just to have the reward of having the teacher like you. So we always don't be a brownie, don't collect brownie points. So I think we as Westerners are very conscious of that. So if your motive is pure, I think it's the purification of the motive.
It goes by motivation.
Okay, anyway, very good importance of your good motivation. Good motivation, then you do good activities, become virtuous. If you have very bad motivation to some practice, maybe just check
obligation.
You're very angry that you decide you daily practice, maybe I don't know what is or not.
If you feel like you're obliged to do it, but don't have the interest to do it, then I don't know if it becomes a dharma practice or not.
I've been thinking of my teacher, he gave me this commitment. I have to do this too much, I have to. Motivation is very important. Okay? Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
So